Yeah, mate. Yeah, on the way to Monaco now. Oh, look, mate. Honestly, I just hope the pit stops are good because otherwise we're going to be forecast. I haven't seen the forecast. I haven't checked it. Heavy rain. Huh. All right. Well, I better build some extra front wings then. Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Forza Ferrari. We are at the Monaco Grand Prix today. It's usually a boring race, isn't it? Let's be honest. But we sit third in the Constructors. We have Giovinazzi fourth in the driver's standings with Mick down there in eighth. But one thing that is going to spice this up today is we have forecast heavy rain for the race. I haven't actually checked the whole forecast. Not too much to catch you up on. We'll have a look at the forecast in a second, obviously, because it's only been 4 days since the last race. So let's just get straight into things here. The Monaco track, if you are not familiar with it, let's go through everything. Circuit map there. So for qualifying, red is sector 1, blue sector 2, yellow sector 3. It's slow, it's tight, it's twisty, and that's pretty much all there is. Low speed cornering is all you really care about. Time considerations, we can see there, only a 4-second difference between a safety car stop and not, so there's not a massive advantage to be had, and it's all about track position, as we know, isn't it? So there's a big part of me that thinks what we will probably do, although it's going to be a wet race, so maybe it won't matter so much, but I was thinking we'll probably start on the soft, get onto the hard tyre as soon as possible, look for undercuts, and then just hang on from there. But it'll depend on when the rain comes, doesn't it? The tyre compounds, we can see everything there. It doesn't really matter, as I've said, because it's Monaco and you can't overtake anyway. Historic results, Red Bull do well here. Yeah, we'll get our cameras ready for the underside of Perez's car as well. And yeah, that is pretty much that. Now, what are we expecting to do here? Let's have a look. Reach Q2, we better. Qualifying in the top 4, let's hope we can do that as well. And reaching Q3 should be an absolute given. The race targets, someone in the top 4. I mean, Giovinazzi's been doing that fairly consistently, hasn't he? We need 2 cars in the top 6. No, we need 1 car in the top 6 for that qualifying bonus. And for the race, we need 1 car in the top 6 twice in a row. So that should be doable, shouldn't it? All right, let's go off to Monaco and let's confirm these weather conditions. And there we go. It's not going to rain until Sunday when it's going to absolutely chuck it down. So that should be fun, shouldn't it? Guys, I'll do some free practice and I will see you for qualifying. Alright, so I forgot to hit record when I was explaining free practice, so we'll go back and check that in just a second. We've just done Q1. Both guys got through on 1 run, absolutely fine. But yeah, sorry about that. I just hit record. It's not that difficult. So this was free practice 1. Mick there was up in 4th. Now Giovinazzi was down in 14th. Ultimately, he just didn't get a clean lap on his soft tyres, so there's no need to be too concerned about that one. FP2, we were 8th and 9th, and that is just kind of where we were. And then FP3, it was 6th and 8th, and again, that is just kind of where we were. Now, it's looking as though Alpine have taken a step forward for this track just suits their car a bit more. But if we look down, there is a gap sort of between the top 5 teams, let's say now, and then Haas and the rest. So yeah, we should be competing for points. It's just whereabouts we fall in that top 5 section, I suppose. But Q1's done. Let's go and do Q2, and we should, well, hopefully be okay here as well. Alright, we are on board with Mick. We did our first run on used soft tyres. He's in a little bit of trouble here. Giovinazzi should be fine. He's out on track anyway, but he should be fine up there in 4th. Mick is just under a little bit of pressure here, and Giovinazzi's done a green first sector. Let's see what Mick can do. We shouldn't have any to worry about any traffic either, so we've got ourselves a good piece of track, which is nice. Okay, there is the checkered flag, which is... doesn't really matter here or there, but we are looking at that right on the bubble right now with Mick. He is going quicker. Giovinazzi's done green. Mick has done green yellow, so he is under big pressure now because he's currently outside looking in, and this needs to be a better lap, Mick, or you are going to be starting outside the points in Monaco, which is never good, and he is staying outside. Mick, so that is not something that we needed. And I'm not sure where the pace has gone because he's been roughly or even quicker than Giovinazzi most of free practice, and he's 4/10 off him here. Giovinazzi, by the way, brilliant up in 3rd, so let's see if he can start there because he needs to do big points now, doesn't he? Alright, so Giovinazzi's first run, oh, that's not good. We're going to get stuck behind the Red Bull now as he finishes his lap, I'm assuming. Get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. Oh, is he holding us up? I don't know if that held us up or not. I mean, we're currently sitting 3rd. The Red Bulls are just almost a second ahead of us. But if we can start this race 3rd with Giovinazzi, I'd be delighted, to be honest. We've not gone any faster in that first sector, though. Possibly that's Red Bull related. One thing that we don't ever see in this, actually, is penalties for sort of impeding, which... Yeah, I mean, I guess the game doesn't really need it, but it's certainly frustrating when you get held up like that. He has done a better middle sector. We're down to 4th now as Alonso gets himself on the front row. Can Giovinazzi move himself back up into 3rd or better? He can! He's ahead of Perez. So a huge lap from Giovinazzi. He goes 3rd. We will be starting from a podium position. We just need to hang on to it now in the heavy rain. Easy, right? Alright, let's have a look at our strategy options here. And when is this rain supposed to be coming? Those are our 2 big questions. Where's the track? So it's going to start raining fairly early on. Then we've got the stupid decision. We have to try and decide if that is a wet tyre or an inter tyre. The fact it's going to dry out again, I wonder if what we do is we go onto an inter. And then when it rains again, we want to go onto a wet. And then at some point, either back onto an inter with 2 laps. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to want to come in that close to the end, are you? Okay, so let's have a look here. So soft tyre to start, no brainer. So let's say then we go inter and then probably a wet. And that's somewhere, I'd say, near like what we would want to do. Let's say an inter tyre is, we're looking at there somewhere. And then the wet tyre somewhere here. When it sort of crosses over from being an inter, we want to go onto the wet. So yeah, and then we're probably going to have to come back in, aren't we? And stick another inter on. It's going to be a crazy race, this one. Always my favourite. Because you can only stuff them up. I wonder if there's an argument to say you come in and try and stay out on a wet, because the track, if it's going to dry fairly quickly, and then put on a soft tyre, that might be something to consider later on in the race, but we'll have to see what we do. But yeah, so we'll do the same thing with Mick, because, I mean, what else can you do? And yeah, let's hope we keep things out of the barriers. Okay, welcome back. Here we go. The start is everything. We just need to kind of hold position, don't we? Or if we could sneak up the inside of the Aston Martin there, that might be a nice thing to do. You'll see we're going very aggressive tyre use and fuel use. We've got a yellow flag, safety car deployed. Is Mick okay? Mick's made up a position. So what has actually happened here, I wonder? Multiple cars have crashed into turn 1, no doubt, and it's towards the back. Can we take out some Mercedes or something in there? That'd be nice. It's right behind Mick. It's the Alpine that's done it, isn't it? And track is blocked. And it is indeed a red flag. So we will do all that again. Alright, let's try this again. Now, I was wondering if it might be worth risking going onto an intermediate tyre. But it's 4 minutes, which is going to be about 4 laps, and I think you're going to lose more time, as Giovinazzi might this time have himself up into 2nd. He's got to race the Aston Martin, and he's not quite. We're not quick enough, are we? And we will slot into 3rd. Mick has lost out of the line. He goes back to 11th. Hulkenberg has got past him. So that's a bit of an annoyance, isn't it? But of course, with that delay, the rain is going to be coming sooner, though. Did anybody have a go? No, everyone's on soft tyres, and no one gambled on sticking on the inter. It's now 2 minutes away. I tell you what, no, I think you would have lost more than a pit stop. But it's one of those where I wonder if it might have been worth maybe taking that risk. But anyway, Verstappen set the fast. This lap will probably be the point for fastest lap. If it's going to rain for the rest of the race, well then this is the one, isn't it? So let's hope, as Giovinazzi, what's he doing splits wise? No, he's faster, obviously personal best, but he's not going purple right now. It's getting very dark though, isn't it? We're 1 minute away from rain, and well, I mean, just because it starts raining doesn't mean it's going to instantly be inters either, does it? And it doesn't look as though we've gone faster. DRS is now enabled.
No DRS for him.
We have burnt through the battery, which is what we were expecting to do. And we do now have rain. Alright, so when do we come in? When do we come in? Now what we don't really know either is how good are our drivers in the wet. I think we're going to bring Mick in this lap. He's that little bit further back. So we'll bring Mick in. And then the big question is, I think if we're not halfway to Inters, I don't think we want to do it with Giovinazzi. So we'll bring him in this lap, I think, is going to be the one for him. So we'll go and stick him on an Inter. And yeah, let's see what sort of pit stop we get for Mick here. Is it too soon? I mean, making the jump first, it'll either work for us or it won't, will it? And that's 2.5 seconds is absolutely fine for a pit stop. And it's go time now for Mick. He needs to try and make up as much time as possible. And it's not really Inters yet in terms of Mick. I think Giovinazzi is going to be perfectly timed here because it's about to go to Inters. And everybody's coming in. Now this stop needs to be good, please, boys. It needs to be a good stop. We kill half the Red Bull pit crew. And we have to hold and wait. Oh, this is... we're stuck now. Oh, this is... come on, you can't do this to us. What is... oh, this is a disaster. What is going on? We've had to let everybody go through. Now, is everybody going to have to held as well? No, so at the end of the pits, you've got a massive advantage. We're behind Ricciardo. Mick's actually made out like a bandit here. He's come in at a beautiful time and finds himself now all the way up into what will be third, I think, because Magnussen doesn't look like they've double stacked him. So Giovinazzi is ninth. Oh no, Magnussen is on an Inter. Yeah, well, that's just all been a massive, massive disaster for Giovinazzi, who's behind Ricciardo and Hulkenberg and Stroll now as well. And, well, Perez and Alonso have made out quite well out of that, it looks like. So, what a disaster. Unbelievable. Alright, it's exactly what you'd expect Monaco to be. Now, what we have done is, while we were sitting here, we have charged Giovinazzi's battery. We're now going to try and deploy, see if we can get one, if not both, of Ricciardo and Hulkenberg here. Mick is stuck behind who's that? Magnussen right now, so the Haasers are destroying our race currently. I don't know that deploying is going to make much difference, because it's Monaco. You can't overtake. So, I mean, there's more pit stops to come. We're going to have to go to a wet tyre at some point, we're expecting, and then back onto an Inter. In hindsight, what we maybe should have done with Giovinazzi is, like we did with Mick, is bring him in a lap earlier so we didn't get that traffic jam. I think Red Bull did something similar with Verstappen at some point, didn't they, in real life? I remember that happening. I can't remember what race it was, though. So, one of it, was it the Dutch one, maybe? Anyway, I think we need to maybe learn from that and understand that there's going to be a packed pit lane, and we just need to not be sitting at the end of it waiting for everybody to go past. As Mick's battery is now fully charged, so we'll go and stick him on deploy. It's not worked for Gio, that one, but let's go and have a look at Mick now and see if he can get himself past K-Mag. Channel hero, of course, Kevin Magnussen. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Come on, Mick. No, it's not quite there for him. What we don't want to do is stick it in a wall here. We don't want to, go banzaiing down the inside and take us both out of the race. Fifth is not terrible points for us, considering... yeah, I mean, well, we need to be ahead of Aston Martin, really, don't we? Just not quite. You can see that it's just not long enough, is that the straights just aren't long enough. We don't quite have what it takes here. And I just feel like so much, like it wasn't our fault. I mean, it was, because I should have maybe waited to bring him in, but surely we could have released him, and then the Mercedes parking in front of us. It just destroyed our race, didn't it? Alright, so the track has just gone dry, but we are expecting another dump of rain in 3 minutes. I don't think it's going to be worth coming in for a pit stop, because I don't think you'll make enough time back to be able to, to not lose out. But you'd have to do 20 seconds. We would have had to come in that lap, and you'd have to do 15, 16 seconds a lap. No, 10 seconds a lap probably, wouldn't it, if you say two laps? I don't think you're going to be that much quicker. So, yeah, this is literally what I've been watching. We've been watching the back of Kevin Magnussen, or you can watch the back of Daniel Ricciardo. You can choose which which arse end of a car you want to look at. But ultimately, it doesn't matter because we can't get past. We've tried charging the batteries, we've tried obviously deploying, we've tried... well, that's all you can really try, isn't it? And it's just not working. So, K-Mag's on a bit of a push lap here, it looks like, but when his battery runs out... Oh, hang on, we're in a little bit of trouble here, because Lance Stroll has just gotten past, has he? Let's deploy, we don't need that happening, Mick. We don't need that happening, that is not good. I'm going to guess Mick maybe not good in being on the wrong tyre, but it looks like the rain is starting to come, it's getting wetter again and wetter again. And yeah, well, we've just lost a spot there, which is annoying. And if Stroll goes and gets past Magnussen, then that's going to be really hurt our constructors too, because that's more points then for Aston Martin. And yeah, they're looking as though they're not going to be catchable for second, aren't they, at this point of the season? But still a long way to go. Let's not be too negative here. Not even halfway of this race. Alright, we are expecting the big dump of rain any minute now, which is going to, or should anyway, we're expecting it to send the track into wet tyre conditions. So, yeah, we're just kind of watching this number here. But so far, it's not, that rain's not come. Alright, that looks like more substantial rain, doesn't it? Do we come in this lap? It's not really heavy enough right now, so... maybe in 4 minutes is when the actual massive dump of rain is going to be coming. So we'll wait and see. We'll come back for that. Alright, so we are still waiting on this massive dump of rain, which should have been here quite a few laps ago now. We're at lap 40, so we've just ticked over halfway. Yeah, I mean, Mick he's lost 4 seconds now. I think we've sort of churned through our tyres maybe a little bit too quickly here. But we were expecting the heavier rain to have already arrived. So, yeah, I mean, it's sort of throwing a bit of a spanner in the works right now. Still 14 seconds up on Hulkenberg. He's got a nice gap behind him, so it's not the end of the world. There's a part of me, I wish I could tell Giovinazzi probably just do what they don't so we can try and get past, but... we've got George Russell right behind us. Now, Tsunoda has come in the pits. He is the first one. Let's see what sort of tyre he has gone for. So there's a few coming in now for the wets. I think this might be Mick's lap, because we're expecting it to keep going. It's getting very, very close to going to a wet tyre anyway. And we might be able to get a bit of an advantage. Yeah, I mean, we've churned through our tyres compared to everybody else, haven't we? So do we want to do it with Gio as well? We need to make the decision now, more or less, don't we? We probably want to wait just in case this rain doesn't actually show up as we're expecting it to. The Mick stop is good, 5.8 seconds in, out, and very nicely done. So he needs to go now, and hopefully, there he is coming out of the pits, and he's going to get stuck behind Ricciardo and Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi's coming in this lap, because the track is just about to go to wet. And we are actually expecting it to get worse, so we're not doing the wrong thing on that front. As there we go, the track has now changed to wet. Mick is he all over the back of us? I mean, we're almost... yeah. We really could have done with not coming out exactly where we have there. But Giovinazzi's in the pits. Nobody else is stopping here, which always makes you a little bit nervous. It's a decent stop at 2.6. We didn't have to wait in the pit lane. And let's see now, if Giovinazzi can do some good laps here, he should get the undercut on Ricciardo and Hulkenberg. Likewise, actually, Mick should be able to get the undercut on Stroll and whoever he was racing as well. So let's go and have a big push at this, guys, and see when they come in. Mick is, of course, stuck, though, isn't he? He's stuck behind these guys. So it's probably not going to quite work out for him. But Giovinazzi, he could make some hay here while the rain is falling. That's not really the saying, is it? Alright, so a wet track, Ricciardo on an Inter tyre, and Schumacher has been able to sort of nudge his way past, so very, very nicely done. Let's go and get Hulkenberg now. Alright, and here we go. Can we get the move done? We're using the battery we need to get past this. Other cars aren't coming in. This is our time to shine. If they're going to try and get to the end on these Inters, well, I mean, the track is we're expecting it to get very, very wet, but we just can't get past right now, even on the better tyre. And I mean, it could turn into a, here we go on the Urs. This should be easy enough. We should have more grip in the braking zone, and we get it done. Well done, Mick. Now go and chase down those other guys. You've got 20 seconds to do that, and we've got Giovinazzi now stuck behind Gasly, and well, Giovinazzi's overtaken Hamilton. Well, nicely done. We are getting moves done at least in the... Look at the rain. Very similar move to what we just saw Mick do. Went the other way, though. And now he needs to go and get after Gasly. So if you look at lap times here, we are 10 seconds a lap almost faster, 8 seconds a lap faster. If they don't come in for tyres, and it's only going to get wetter and worse, if they don't come in for tyres here, we could end up with a massive result. You can see here, I mean, we've got Gasly, tyres are overheating, that's fine. We've got Gasly behind, is this Russell and Ricciardo? We've caught back up to them. So, yeah, I mean, you can see we get such a good run out of that corner. We can do them under brakes into the chicane. We are able right now, with the weather conditions and the difference in tyres, to get moves done. And Giovinazzi is caught up. He's already made up the whole pit stop. He is behind George Russell, who was behind us. Well, that's Ricciardo there. And Mick is, well, he's just got past Lance Stroll, has he? Because he's now up behind Kevin Magnussen. He has just got past Lance Stroll. So we are making moves. Why nobody else has come in for the wet tyre yet, I do not know, because we've made up the time. And it's still wet, it's still getting wetter, and this is just fantastic for us right now. Okay, here we go. We're going to deploy with Mick, get him past K-Mag. He was proving very, very difficult to overtake, so we've got that move done now. 9 seconds up the road is Perez. So let's go get him, and it looks as though Giovinazzi has just got past George Russell. Let's deploy. Let's finally see the back of Denny Rick, or the front of Denny Rick, I suppose. We still can't get that move done on Ricciardo. Come on, Gio, you need to do this, mate. Can we do it down the front straight, I wonder? Because our rain is starting to fade here. We are probably going to find ourselves needing to go back onto the Inters soon. And, well, I mean, it's worked out okay for Mick. It has worked out well for Mick. But even with a stop, he's possibly... Well, he needs to go, but he's possibly going to come out okay. But it's not going to work for... It's not going to work for Giovinazzi if he gets stuck behind Ricciardo again. Surely this time with the Urs. There we go. Finally, job done. And now he's got to absolutely go. He's only got 4 seconds till he gets to the back of Hulkenberg. He's going to have to make quick work of him as well. But the track it's drying now. It's about to come out of our favour and go back towards the Inter runners. So, yeah, and look at Mick. He's all over the back of Perez now. Can he go and get a move done? Can he go and get a move done? Not quite. Not quite. Yeah, but look, you can see the sun's out. It's going to dry. And, well, maybe it's going to be, it's there. It's gone back to Inters. Maybe this isn't quite going to work out the way that I had hoped. So, we're going to bring Mick in this lap. We'll probably bring Giovinazzi in as well. And see where they come back out. The Giovinazzi stop is not quite happening yet. So Mick...
That is the train, essentially.
Mick looks like he's come out in 6th, has he? So in the end, he's kind of just come out where he was. But Giovinazzi, though, I think is going to lose out. He's going to lose out quite a bit here. And that's just not getting moves done, isn't it? So he comes out behind, he's been lapped there, looks like, by probably Alonso. So he's down in 13th now. So an epic piece of racing here between Hamilton and Giovinazzi. Now we do have a big tyre advantage right now, and Tsunoda's hanging out on the wet. So We were eventually, we were side by side for almost half a lap in the end, but we got past him, and now we've got to go get Tsunoda as well. And we can see here as we're on board with Giovinazzi, that's what we're going to try and do. If we can get it done down this straight, that would be very, very nice. Doesn't look like that's quite going to happen, but here we go. We should get in here inside of Casino Square, and that is us back up now into the top 10. No, it's not. We're 11th. We can see, look at Mick Schumacher. He's still 2 seconds or near enough a lap quicker, so he's... If this was any other track, it's worked perfectly for us, but obviously Monaco and not being able to get overtakes done, it's hurting us a little bit. But, yeah, it looks like everybody's got past Tsunoda here as well. We're getting to the point where it might be time for dry tyres, so we'll see what happens on that one. Yeah, Tsunoda has given up now and coming to the pits as well. Okay, now the track is just about to go dry, so we are calling in Giovinazzi, try and get an advantage on the soft tyres. Tsunoda's gone in on the soft tyres when he came into the pits, so it was about a lap ago. Track is now dry, so we've come in theory, at the perfect time for Giovinazzi. Now he needs to go and hopefully not get held up by that Williams or that Alfa Romeo, as Mick is now in. Let's see what sort of stop we get out of him. We can't afford to push the soft tyre quite like that. Let's go aggressive though whilst... so a decent stop for Mick as well. And yeah, well we need to try and get this this undercut going for us if we can. Now, has Mick come out in traffic? No, so Mick's got a nice... It really has worked out for Mick this race, hasn't it? And Giovinazzi has had absolutely no luck whatsoever, as he has now got out of the way. Has Bottas, are we going to get out in front of Hamilton? We are. And now, has everybody else gone and put these... No, so there's still cars that are coming in to stop. Let's see where Mick comes out in all of this. Some medium tyre runners as well, which is maybe a little bit surprising. Is Mick going to get the better of? We are past... Who are we past there? Is that a Red Bull? That's a McLaren. Out of the way, McLaren. You're a lap down. Come on, man. But we have come out in 4th. So we've got over Stroll and Magnussen. So that is good news, obviously. Giovinazzi, though, looks like he's in 11th. And he's going to struggle to score points today, isn't he? Starting 3rd on the grid in Monaco. You should be an absolute lock for points there. And all went wrong at that first stop, though, didn't it? Now, and Mick not able to keep Lance Stroll behind him, so he's down to 5th place. DRS assisted, perhaps, but that Aston Martin is a much, much better car than our Ferrari right now, isn't it? Alright, now we have very rapidly caught the back of Hulkenberg here with Giovinazzi. Now everybody's a lap down up until I think only the first 2 aren't a lap down. But can we, with DRS, get past the Haas that is going to will have the same engine in it as us, for the Ferrari, of course. So we'll do a little bit of harvest. He's on a medium tyre, which in theory should give us a small advantage, though we've worked out our tyres quite hard to get here. And we'll have a go under DRS in the front straight, I think, and try and get him. There's only 2 laps to go. I don't actually know what lap we're on. I mean, I'm assuming we're coming around to start. 2 laps to go for us. Although, as I say, Verstappen has lapped everybody. So here we go. This is our chance. We're on the button. We're on the button, and there we go. Down the outside into turn 1, and Giovinazzi has got himself up into the points. He is unlikely to catch Gasly because he's 3 seconds up the road, but the race that he's had an absolute nightmare, hasn't he? He's had an absolute just worst case scenario race, but if he salvages a point from it, it's better than a kick in the balls.
For info, we are not fuel limited. We are not fuel limited.
Alright, so the race has finished a little bit. Caught me off guard there a little bit. Mick has come in 5th, which is well done to him. And Gio, he's catching these guys quickly. Actually, that might be a McLaren. It might not be Gasly. Anyway, we salvage a point there with Giovinazzi as well. It was a very chaotic Monaco Grand Prix, wasn't it? But 5th and 10th.
Okay, that's the checkered flag.
So yeah, Mick up 6, Gio down 7, and yeah, it's just a lot of cars a lap down. That first pit stop really did jumble things up, and I think what really hurt us, in hindsight, I don't know if it was the right decision to go into the wet tyres. It worked out okay for Mick, didn't it? Because he was able to make the overtakes. Giovinazzi wasn't able to make the overtakes, and so he's paid the price, really. But that first pit stop, having to sit in the pit lane and wait, absolutely brutal, wasn't it? But so a good result there for K-Mag and Ricciardo as well. Some pretty big points in their seasons. But Giovinazzi will drop down to 5th now in the drivers' standings behind Lance Stroll. Mick will stay 8th. Level on points, though, with George Russell, so that's good to see. Let's hope he can get himself ahead of those two Mercedes drivers. And in the constructors, well, we've pulled out more on Mercedes. We've dropped further back of Aston Martin. I don't think we're going to be able to get the top 2 this year. Let's hope that it doesn't result in me getting sacked, because that'd be a real crappy way, wouldn't it, to end everything. We still have no pit stop times and points. We've got 6 points for the season. I think that was from the first race, and we had enough goes at it today to get a fast stop, and we just couldn't manage to do it. But there we go. If you've enjoyed that, thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. Next race is Spain in Barcelona. I don't know if that's going to suit us or not. We'll find out when we get there. And are we going to have new parts for the car? We've got some design things that are going to be done soon. And how long till the race? 4 days. So no, we won't have anything on the car. They'll be being manufactured. So soon we'll have some upgrades. And let's hope they work, because we are just slowly falling away from those top 2 teams, aren't we? Take care.